the Public Works Committee, and today's date is 5/17/21. The time is 8:43 p.m. And my name is Jay Wolk, and I'm representative in District 5, and I'm calling the meeting to order. So, all right, Lauren, take it away.
Okay, so should we start with the, in accordance with the request from the Affordable Housing Committee and the Director of Community and Economic Development, the purchase of properties on Quincy Street within the Parkview Commons development as more particularly set forth in the binders of sale be and hereby are approved, and further resolved that the use of Housing Trust Fund to pay all costs associated with the issue of bonds to finance said purchase be hereby approved.
I move to accept that as presented.
Who wants to second that? Is that Frank?
Scott seconded. No, Scott.
All right, Frank seconded. Oh, that's
Scott.
All right.
Scott.
Oh, Scott? Okay, Scott seconds it.
Oh, I second it.
Frank will second it to second the next time. All right, so anybody want to start
discussion?
How we feel about this?
Any
comments?
Yeah, I'll make a comment.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm concerned, and I spoke to Barnett about it. I think that's his name. They're looking
Mark,
for $2 million to buy. I think it's 3 more properties in which the idea is to tear them down and exchange the single families for 2-family or 3-family units. But he even admits this is not a self-supporting situation, that you got to go and get from this affordable housing fund, which is funded by charging people extra money on building permits to get the money in it to subsidize the whole thing.
So this is a long-term goal here to put deed restrictions onto affordable housing. So, it's not perfect, but I think it's a really great plan. And I hope that the long-term goal can be, that can be met. And this is a big start. It's rough over there. I live in a house that has flood insurance. I pay for my little itty bitty cake. I pay like $3,000 a year.
Yikes!
So, yeah, I know. Yikes!
I'm so sorry.
By the way, knock on wood, I've never ever been flooded. Every time we get something, I'm like, open up the windows. Mama needs a new furnace.
Turn the hose on.
Oh no, that's what So
I don't know where this water came from.
I just don't know. So that would be my concern is until they fix the Rooster River problem and they add housing, deed restriction, it can be really cost prohibitive. After Hurricane Wilma, we were paying $4,800 a year for like 5 or 6 years. And
how far is
Wow.
the river to your house?
Pardon?
That was flood insurance?
Yeah.
How far is the closest water source
I
to your
believe
house?
it's
the
Ash
river?
Creek, but it's
Ash Creek.
it
So where is that in
really,
relation to your house? That's kind of far, right?
well, I can't throw a stick to it, but it's about a quarter mile as the crow flies.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane. It's insane. So
How
what
far,
I'm saying
Lisa,
is,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No, how far is the Rooster River from you?
That doesn't affect me at all. That's I live over by Bed Bath & Beyond, and the Rooster River flooding
No, I know
is
you.
over. Okay,
So that doesn't affect, the Rooster River doesn't affect you over there by you?
It doesn't. Nothing affects me over here. I've never been wet.
She's saying the Ash Creek is
never,
the closest water source.
Yeah, it's never flooded. It's the Corps of Army Engineers came in and redesigned everything about 60, 70 years ago. Yeah, it doesn't get wet. It doesn't flood.
We have a major issue. We have a major issue with the Rooster River over here.
Right.
So
and that is a big concern for these housing projects. Is the flood insurance is so variable, and fixed income, when it changes like that, we talked about having to leave because that was an unexpected huge expense. I mean, it was several $100s a month that we just didn't have. So,
wow.
In response to Rick's inquiry about this, it doesn't sound like a good deal. My understanding is that the plan would be, because I listened to the Board of Finance presentation when Barnhart made it to them, or the Board of Selectmen, I can't remember which one. I think it was the Board of Finance. The plan would be to get like a development partner who would kind of partner with the town, develop these units, and sell them as affordable units being deed restricted. So the money would all flow back to the town, and the benefit to us is that they're already deed restricted now. They're always going to be, whatever's developed there is going to end up being affordable housing. And once they're knocked down and jacked up to the appropriate height, they will not require the flood insurance that they require now. So I think all of the money is going to end up back in the town coffers at the end of the day once they're developed.
Living in a house, it's not so much how high the house is, it's where your house is in relationship to the flood zone and the lines and
well, it has to do with elevation, though. Flood insurance is covered by elevation.
It does, but it's not going to solve the problem.
The house is being FEMA compliant. It has to be built to certain standards. If you're FEMA compliant in a flood zone, then your flood insurance premiums are really cheap, a couple $100.
Correct.
That's correct.
But right now, because they're low to the ground and they're in the flood elevation that would flood in the 100-year flood or whatever, that's why it's thousands of dollars a year.
And they might even try to push it.
That is not what I have learned from lawyers and zoning and mortgage people and whatnot.
I am a lawyer, and I do closings with properties in flood zones, so I would challenge the information that you're being told.
But are those houses FEMA compliant?
These properties would be constructed off the ground so that they would no longer be located in the flood zone that would require these maximum ridiculous cost prohibitive flood insurance premiums.
Yeah.
It'll definitely help, but it doesn't alleviate the necessity for flood insurance.
It'll still be in the flood zone on the floodplain map, but it will be less because you've mitigated the water damage.
Correct, because they're elevated off the ground. They're no longer going to flood even in a 100-year flood if they're 16 or 18 feet off the ground. That's why.
Karen, you're right.
Right, but they're still located close to the flood
in a flood zone.
So
believe me, mortgage companies can do whatever the hell they want.
Well, they can't because they're governed by federal law, and the flood elevation certificates determine exactly what the bank requires. I mean, it's all done through those FEMA maps.
Yep, I have all that.
I sell flood insurance, so I know about the elevation, and Karen is exactly right.
When I moved into my house, I had to buy flood insurance as well, and they showed me the floodplain map, but then so it was related to that. It was expensive like yours, Lisa. And then they said then for some reason something changed. They redrew the maps, and I don't have to get it anymore.
Yeah, well, I got a whole spiel about how my utilities were 6 inches below the floodplain. And now my utilities, because I changed, are now up. I have a tankless system now. And
you have a tankless water system?
Pardon?
You have a tankless water system in your home?
Yes, and heating. Water and heating.
That's pretty cool.
So jealous.
Oh, it is, and I love it. That's a whole other conversation. But now that I have I've lost it. I'm the 6 inches doesn't count anymore. I still can't get. Anyway, I'm just saying it's not as easy or as right or wrong, black and white, as we want it to be, and we're asking, people to deal with that, and I think that is my concern, and I'll just leave it at that. I support it.
Right.
I'm going to vote for it. I think it's a fabulous idea. I'm all about it, but I do have that concern.
Guys, I can tell you, you don't have to get FEMA flood insurance. Lloyd's of London also offered the same thing, and your bank will accept it. I own a couple properties in the flood zone, and I switched to Lloyd's and saved probably half the premium.
Yeah, I've shopped around. I'm not paying the most. I've saved a lot of money over the years by shopping around. I change flood insurance companies, every few years to get a better rate.
So here at Dogwood Green, FEMA came and did a study on our property of our condos, and it turned out, because the Rooster River comes into the middle of our condominiums. We have a big pond in the middle, and it goes down into a brook that goes through Montauk and goes behind Consumption Church. But anyway, we are so lucky, there's only one unit that got tagged for flood insurance, and that's the unit closest to the brook by Montauk Street. All the other units are fine. We're not in a flood zone, thank God. I mean, that 2 years ago when we had that flash rainstorm that dropped I don't how much water. So it's pretty scary, what the Rooster River does over on this end. And the houses, just so you know, the houses down on Villa, I'm not quite sure. I went to a couple of these big meetings here in town, but anyway, I don't know if the FEMA actually, their basements and a lot of these homes got really destroyed, So it worries me with this flood zone. And you're right about insurance. You can shop insurance. You don't have to go through FEMA for insurance.
Yeah.
So, but thanks for that information about Lloyd's. I'll pass it on to the unit owner over here. Maybe I could just go knock on their door and just tell them about it. But anyway, I'm done. Anybody else want to want to talk about it? Or, we want to take a vote on this, or how do you want to do this?
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Ready to take a vote?
Yeah.
Okay, so Frank's going to second it, right?
Sure, I'll second it.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
Scott already seconded it.
The motion's already on the table, and Scott's already seconded it. So all you have to do is say all in favor.
Say aye.
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 Are we all in favor?
We are.
Yeah. So no abstentions. Oh, cool. All right, that's great. So that passes.
All right. So
Lauren, you want to go to the next one?
Yep. Next up is the bond resolution entitled "A Resolution for Appropriating $2 million for all costs associated with the purchase of properties on Quincy Street." Yeah. Sounds like the same thing. I'm already doing this? I think I doubled
my bond resolution. No, you're talking about the WPCA one.
The Park Investment Housing Trust Fund. Yeah.
It?
The one I'm talking about now is the berm and pumping station. Is that what's up?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Okay. Resolved that the bond resolution entitled "A Resolution Appropriating $3,088,000 for the costs associated with the construction of berm and pumping station, and authorizing issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, to increase the amount of the appropriation to $9,607,765, and the bond authorization to $5,975,633 be and is hereby approved."
I'd like to make a motion to handle or vote on 5 and 6 as written, as one vote. Does anybody have an objection to that?
No objection.
No, anybody want to second it?
Works for me.
I'll second it.
Which one? 5 and 6.
No,
Because I have
5 and 6 to be voted on as one as presented in the warning.
One vote
on the agenda.
Yeah, that's fine. That works.
I will say.
All right, so we're all in favor of that.
All in favor, aye.
Everybody in favor, say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? No. No abstentions? So that passes. All right.
No, just the motion to have it heard as
Right.
one passes. Yeah, okay.
So who wants to bring the motion to talk about it?
Anybody?
So
I'll bring it to
I make
motion.
a motion to accept 5 and 6 as presented.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Second it, Lauren? Okay.
Yep.
All right. That works.
Now let's vote, shall we?
Yeah, we can vote on this.
All in favor?
I just,
So all those in favor? Anybody want to discuss?
I'd like to just make a point that the Board of Finance has not voted on this yet, and I guess they're due to vote on it tomorrow at their meeting.
Yep.
So maybe we should wait to hear from them.
I'm going to abstain on this one until they vote.
I think I abstain too, just until it's Peter, until the finance clears it.
Okay.
Everybody else?
I'm also gonna abstain for the same reason. I'd like to hear the Board of Finance. I'd like to hear it before them first.
That makes sense.
Jay, do you remember how long ago we were told that the sewer system was going to have to be replaced? And I remember a price tag of like $30 million.
Yeah, I remember that. How long ago was that?
Does anybody remember when that?
4 years ago?
That was years ago.
Well before my time.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, no,
That was
good memory.
before my fledgling political career started. Sorry.
No
Well,
recall.
I think it's just really important because, as Mr. Batesman was saying, you know, we've known in town that there was going to be like a $30 million waste expense in the future, and they've made no attempts to try to like raise the fees for sewer users in order to help, you know,
alleviate the cost. Right.
So I think what Lori said in the meeting tonight was very important is we have to replace that system. It's not news, but it's been, you know, whatever. And
I think we're going to pass it anyway.
Yeah, I
can't see the board. If I can't see the Board of Finance voting this down, we need this.
Either. Right.
You know,
Ed brings up a really good point that this was brought up a long time ago. Like, and
we really didn't know. You know, Ed was right about asking about. Ed was good about asking about whether other towns this is successful for what they're going to do for all this money, whether it works.
Yeah.
You know, just because other towns have it doesn't.
I think
it becomes
we'll
a
be
level
able to
for
pay
them, probably, if it's the
something
right
now,
number.
and then be able to have the wastewater treatment plant repaired or replaced or whatever on, you know, literally solid ground. So
Yeah.
I'm
going to vote yes on this.
Can I ask a question to somebody that knows about this wastewater treatment plant?
Yes.
I'm
you want to
wondering, it was supposed to be, if we were to raise it the way they raised the houses to be compliant with the flood zone, to raise it would have been like $100 million or something like wild.
Well, they're building a berm around.
The berm is the alternate?
Yeah, the berm
was
going around is going to make it like Holland. You're
Right.
You're inside the town.
But that was Plan B. The berm was Plan B. Plan A was to raise it, and the cost was prohibitive. So the berm.
Can we skate on
So
it?
Holland it is.
So is this safe? It's going to be safe, right?
Yes.
Well,
Right.
that's the plan.
They're going to elevation 16 on the berm all the way around the wastewater treatment plant.
I think we should
You're not-
rename
you're-
it
you're
the Fairfield Poop Castle.
That's a good one, Karen. I like it.
Yeah, I like that. We should definitely say that.
You gotta
I used
remember,
to have a bumper sticker on my car back in the day. It said, "Shit happens."
yeah.
Well, listen, guys. The other thing that I heard was really good, that this is going to benefit the pet shelter and the training center.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's important for those buildings. You know.
Yeah. I just wanted to bring up those points so that we are aware of the long term. Again, it's it's a long term goal, but the replacement of the wastewater system is not new and should not be a shock. But I think the price tag is going to really freak everybody out.
Well, isn't the town? Well, town will probably end up bonding it, and then the users of this sewer are going to have to pay astronomical fees to pay it off.
Right.
I don't think it's going to be spread to the overall taxpayers.
Yeah, there was a lot of discussion on that very thing. Do we put it across the town because it's a town asset, or do we only charge the sewer users? Like I really need to go.
That was a good memory, Lisa.
I'm sorry?
I think, the project has to be approved. Like I said, I can't see this being denied.
Well, I'm comfortable with the vote. If anybody else has anything to say, I'm really happy to hear it.
I have a dumb question.
Never dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty dumb. Get ready.
Is water wet? Yes. Does poop stink? Yes.
That's it. You read my mind. What is hardening?
What is
hardening?
What
does hardening mean?
Hardening
means to protect it.
Means
to harden.
building the dike around it. That's just a phrase they use for building the dike.
Yeah, just consider like protecting.
Yeah.
So there's a moat, and it's hard.
Basically a moat, which is why I called it the poop castle.
It's a hard moat.
Right.
Well, remember, the moat in the old castle is full of water.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. This way, if the British invade us again, they have to go over the moat to get to our stuff.
Yeah.
They try to burn Fairfield again, you know?
Yeah, right. They'll burn us down again.
They can't. They can't.
Well, I'm ready.
So anyway.
All right, so the voting is all abstaining for the most part until we hear from the Board of Finance?
Well, how many are voting yes? Are we all abstaining, or some of us are voting yes, or just waiting? What do you want to do?
I'm going to definitely give my support to the project.
Okay.
Yeah, mine also.
I'm going to abstain.
I'm going to abstain.
Lauren,
I can understand everybody abstaining.
Pardon me, Lauren. Can you do a roll vote?
Why don't you do a roll vote? Right.
Let's do a roll vote. Jay Rolk.
I vote yes.
Lisa Havey.
Yes.
Frank Batiste.
I'm going to abstain.
Karen McCormick.
Abstain, please.
Scott Nichols.
Yes.
Peter Britton.
Abstain.
And Rick.
Abstain.
Alrighty.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 abstaining, and 5 abstaining and 3 yes.
Did you take your own vote?
Sorry, I did it subliminally.
Yes.
I approve.
So we're up to 4.
Okay.
So 5 abstain and 4. What?
I absolutely understand the reason to abstain. I just, my only reason for voting yes is just to lend support to the project.
Oh, yeah, that's yes.
That's my only reason.
Well, I don't think an abstention means you're against it.
No, I don't
It
think
means
no.
right now.
Not at all.
Abstention-
No, abstention doesn't mean you're against it at all.
No, right. That doesn't mean abstention.
Want more information.
Yes,
So it's
that's what it is.
It's 4-4. I don't know what that means. 4-4 is a neutral response.
Actually, technically, 4-4, the motion fails. So, if it's a tie vote, it fails. So
Okay,
that's okay too.
It just has to do with that whole consent agenda thing, that it can't be on the consent agenda.
Right. So
it's going to be taken up next week, which is a good thing, and hopefully by then the Board of Finance will have weighed in and we can watch the meeting if we want and see what they have to say.
There'll be a lot more discussion on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't wait.
Okay. So we're all done?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
No.
Thank you.
What?
I have information. We talked last time we all got together. We were talking about having a meeting with the new department head of DPW, and I talked to Jill about it, and she's the recommendation is to set up a meeting in the future. It has to be a noticed special meeting, and we can have it outside of our normal committees, so we don't have to ask these very overworked, underappreciated people to show up on a phone at 10 o'clock at night. So we can, Jay, you can get with Jill and Betsy, and or you and Frank can come up with a date and time, and we can have a meeting with any department head that we like.
Cool.
You're talking in-person meeting?
Sorry?
It's just a separate meeting.
Yeah, it would be
What department head are we talking about?
Public Works.
DPW.
We can talk about. We can talk with
I thought you
DPW.
just said any department head we want. I didn't know what you were
We
referring
can, if that's what we want to do. But our purview is DPW and building, and like what's going on with MetroCog and the Circle down here. There's plans in place now, how that's proceeding, and the other projects that are happening in the area, and the road changes on Fairfield Ave, Post Road. So all of that we can, get more information on and find out how we can help, or not,
I support that, Peter. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, we talked about.
No, that'd be cool.
So,
thanks, Lisa. That's great.
It would be a really good idea because, I'm embarrassed to say that I didn't realize that the building department was also part of our committee work. And, I feel bad for not knowing my job. So, I just thought it would be a really good idea that we work with the town people and be more knowledgeable about what our roles are.
No, it's actually a good thing. I remember being on the Public Works Committee, and we toured the police department. I remember Michael Hurley got it together, and we toured the police department. We also went on the police boat. Going. I wish we can go visit, DPW and see what they're all about, too.
Meeting. We can have it in person at Town Hall because we can do these things now, or we can hold a virtual meeting that WebEx. It can be a formal WebEx, and that way other RTM members can join in if they like, and we're not taking undue time and from other, their work, department heads' work. So I suggest we start with DPW, and maybe we, do fireside chats every once in a while, and I just think it would be a really good idea for us to live our roles. You know, this is our committee, and I don't know. Am I the only one who didn't know that it was the building committee was also in our purview?
No, I didn't know. That's a good thing that you said that. I had no idea that building committee.
Yeah, so I'd like to do a better job of what we were elected to do. So that's all. I don't want to talk in the circles, but I feel like we have a lot to learn and we have a lot to give. I think that this is a really great, we don't always agree on stuff, but there's no question that at the end of the day, this is what we want. We want good things for the town and the townspeople. So I think the more we know, the more effective we can be.
I think if you could do that meeting in person, it'd be unbelievable, right? So
wouldn't it be fun? Oh my God, I would just be so excited. I am fully vaccinated, and I feel like just running through the streets, just clothed. They would not be.
We can hold a meeting up in town hall in the conference room. So I can work that out. If you want to help Lisa, we can talk. I'll talk to Jill and Betsy, and see if we can. How we can get that room, and then send out an invitation to the art. We can have maybe Karen send out an invitation to the RTM.
Since it's going to have to be a special meeting, it's going to have to be noticed by the town. So the town's going to have to.
Right. So I have to talk to. I'll talk to Betsy about it.
Yeah, and then we can invite our constituents if they, are interested.
If they want to come.
Hey guys, before you go down that road too far, I'm not going to be able to do an indoor meeting for a while. Just for my own things.
Right.
But if you want
to then we'll do a virtual meeting on WebEx.
Or I'd be happy to go outside.
Yeah, we could do a hybrid.
We could meet at the berm.
Yeah.
Or the
we'll meet at the berm.
You know what? We could all meet in my backyard because I don't get flooded.
Yeah, and you're fenced in also.
Yeah, hey.
So nobody can actually see us.
But you have, I have my 2 dogs, so I'm never quite sure how walkable my backyard is.
So we're gonna call it the poop house.
Hey, we could stand out on the lawn at the town hall.
There you go.
Actually, that's kind of fun. We could have an outdoor meeting at town hall.
We can do that.
Fried chicken.
Well, we can have the meeting at the gazebo.
Bring your own beach chair.
Let's have a picnic.
Yeah, I mean, we could. Quite literally, we could do any of that. And I think it would be great to, we can. The fill pile is all in that. We can,
Do we have everybody, Lauren? Do we have everybody's email? I think we should have everybody's email so we can keep in touch with everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll do a list, Jay.
Okay.
You brought up. Somebody just brought up the fill pile. I know of a guy who was going to Brenda and offered to remediate the whole fill pile at no expense to the town, but in exchange, he wants the use of the property to build a solar farm. And the response from Brenda is she can't talk about that yet because she doesn't know what the state wants to do.
What does the state have to do with it?
I like the free.
I'm just asking, what does the state have to do with it?
I don't know.
There's a little department called DEP.
The DEP gets involved in everything. Someone's got to stand up a good deal.
Oh,
one of the things I would love to be able to do in town, speaking of solar farms, it is outside of zoning. You are not allowed to have even the smallest of little turbines to run. I had a neighbor that tried to put one up, and he got ratted out by somebody, and it came down like a week later. But it was like the size of like a box fan. It wasn't even big. And
right.
I think that would be great if we allowed stuff like that. So
this is a solar panel?
No, it was a turbine, windmill.
So like a windmill.
Oh yeah.
But like
why would they be against that?
I don't know, but it's not in our ordinances.
There's height regulations and space it needs. Each one needs a certain amount of space.
Oh, right.
But I think if you can meet those regulations, I would love to be able to see people be able to do that. I mean,
they want you to be green. They want you to be green, but they don't want you to do it.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Because,
right.
It's unsightly, and there's, propaganda out there about, all sorts of, cancer and noise, but,
Aren't there windmills in Holland, Denmark?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those would go well with the berm.
Really?
I think I'd like to see something a little bit more modern.
Out of it.
But anyway,
you lost me at the wind turbines.
Those are some of the ideas that I would like to bring up with DPW, and you guys can add to that conversation, like add what you'd like to see. I just think it would be great to be able to advocate, just being more knowledgeable.
Hey, I will just add, if there's a company out there that wants to step up and cover this nut, we should all know about it.
I don't.
Yeah, really.
Information that we should all have at our just know about, because if that's a solution,
Yeah,
crazy not to just even consider it.
Definitely.
I have not read.
Yeah, this guy's been a successful builder in Long Island. He owns a bunch of properties in Fairfield, and he's got a consortium of other developers.
To start circulating information along, all these departments about that until we know exactly what the state's going to require us to do.
I am sure that there are things about DEEP that are way above our pay grade.
Well, and I'm also sure that if there's a way for anybody to help us out to pay for this, that Brenda would be the first one in line with her hand out to get that done.
Yeah. So but
who
it would be great to get this guy, if he's, to find out other ways that we can help him. So I think
who would benefit by the whole town would benefit from these windmills, or just a portion of it? Who would benefit by it? All of us?
No, it wasn't a windmill. It was a solar farm.
Oh, okay.
For
some or other, he knows how to sell the power back into the grid, and over time, when you finance the whole thing out, I guess it pays.
Yeah, Massachusetts has solar farms every available square inch of highway and byway. Every time I go up there, I see new installations. We really.
Texas
but I remember a time here in Fairfield where,
and they didn't have any electricity for a while too.
Yeah, right. Look what they did. Look what happened to them.
Yeah. Well, then we learned from their mistakes.
Their grid wasn't designed for winter, for heat, for everybody turning on their heat.
Yeah, and they just didn't handle it properly.
They didn't handle it properly. They should have been more prepared. Like they thought it was never going to happen.
That's what happens when you cheap out.
100-year deal.
What?
They didn't want to pay for the upgrades. They saved a little bit of money, but it didn't save them in the long run. So we learned from that. But it's not impossible. Change can happen. You just have to push it along. And I would love to see more opportunities for people in town and businesses.
This town can use a break by not. And this town can use a break by not paying for the pile.
Yeah.
Oh,
That'd be great.
Huge.
We've already spent $2 million on just testing and studying the damn thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I heard
Over what,
price
4
tag
years, 5
a
years?
long time ago that it could be as high as $10 million when all was said and done. And part of that is, again, we don't have the right insurance because Julian filed for bankruptcy and the town doesn't have the type of insurance. Again, you cheap out and, here you go.
No, it's not a matter of cheaping out. They had fraudulent bonds and nobody in the town checked on any of it. In fact, they didn't even make them post the bonds. That's
a whole separate problem. And yes, absolutely.
But insurance doesn't cover. Insurance would not cover us for criminal behavior. That's a misnomer. It's not a matter of having the right insurance. It's a matter of having the proper bonds in place, which should have been to cover us in the event of this debacle.
Wow! Yeah, I didn't know Julian filed for bankruptcy.
Oh yeah, like years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they were still in business.
Pretty much. They might still be in business.
But they set up a bunch of LLCs, and the LLC that was doing that, they went bankrupt. The very same day, they opened up a new LLC and continued doing business under some other name.
Yep.
Right.
Hey, folks, just a little FYI. A lot of speculation. Again, you're on a recorded line. I would maybe suggest to save that for another day.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Who wants to set a motion to adjourn?
Oh, Karen already did. I'll second it.
I'd like to reinitiate my motion from half an hour ago.
So who's seconding?
I'll second it.
Okay.
I seconded it the first time.
All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those against? No. Everybody get home safe.
Yeah, drive safe.
Your favorite line.
Take care.
All right. Good night.
Thanks, everybody. You guys are great.
Don't forget to tip the waiter.
You can sit back and have a cocktail with them while you're at the meeting.
This really is a great committee.
The best.
No, it really is. I'm really happy to be on this committee with all you guys. It doesn't, even though we don't always agree with things, we all get along, and that's what it's all about. And we can all come to an agreement on certain things. So, all right, everybody, stay well.
All right.
All right,
guys.
All right, see you.
Good night.
Good night.